I like to call Windows 101. The great thing about Windows is it's not rocket science. As long as you have 4 basic components, you can have a window that successfully works. What that is a strong frame, strong and reliable frame, good glass, effective weather stripping, and a meticulous install. If you have those 4 things, strong frame, good glass, effective weather stripping, and a meticulous install, then you're going to have a window that's going to work for a long time to come. And so with Andersen, we've had the heritage of developing most of the windows that are out on the market today over the course of our 113-year history. We've always been looking for something that was going to meet 2 criteria. It needed to perform and it needed to last. And so from the beginning of our history, we always made windows out of wood. Man's been making stuff out of wood for a very long time. I mean, you know, it was readily abundant. You could shape it into whatever you want. It's beautiful, all that kind of stuff. But over time, it became more of a commodity. It was getting harder and harder to find good wood. And, you know, when I say good wood, I'm talking about, you know, those 100-year-old oak trees, good, hard woods that are reliable and stable, not full of a lot of sap pockets and all that kind of stuff. But nowadays, as manufacturing became bigger and bigger over the course of, you know, the industrial age, people started realizing that you couldn't really wait for a tree to be 100 years old, that we needed to find trees that could grow fast and that we were able to farm in a sense. So pines and firs are what you're usually going to find, and those are much softer woods. The problem with a wood product, even though it is, like I said, beautiful and strong and all that stuff, is it's not the same as it used to be. Because of that fast growth, you have sap pockets that are going to be in them, water starts to wick into the wood, and ultimately it's just a very high maintenance product. I mean, if you took like a table like this and just threw it outside for, you know, 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months, whatever, didn't give it any attention, how do you think it would fare?
Not very well.
Not very well, right?
Rot pretty fast.
Start rotting, the sun would beat it up, all that kind of stuff. And the reality is that's what we found was happening with wood windows. They're sitting outside exposed to all of the elements for however long you decide to leave them in the window or in the opening. And so we had to try and come up with a way to make it where it was a little bit lower maintenance. So we came up with this idea to wrap aluminum cladding around the exterior of the window so that way it would be protected from all those elements. The problem is it actually exacerbated the problem. It made it worse because what would happen then is as it expanded and contracted, the seams at the corners would split. That would allow pests, water, everything else to get inside, plus condensation starts to occur. As condensation occurs, water is trapped in between the 2 materials, so it rots the window from inside out. So it actually made the problem worse. Does that make sense?
It does.
All right. That's what's available on the market today. It's actually still considered a high-end solution. Companies like Marvin, Colby & Colby, Pella, there's a lot of companies out there that offer an aluminum-clad wood window. But the reality is it still performs the exact same. Sure, it looks beautiful, but they start rotting from the inside out. And just to kind of show you what that looks like, I've got some pictures here. See, this is what happens to it over time. See, this is the metal cladding, this is the wood inside. You see how rotted it is?
Yeah.
This is, again, whenever you tear one apart, what you find whenever you have a wood window. This one right here is growing mushrooms, literally growing mushrooms out of it. This is a funny story right here. I had a guy that I was talking to and I explained this to him and he's like, whatever, you're full of it, you're just a salesman, you say whatever. But the reality is what I told him was that if he would allow me to take off a piece of this aluminum that still looked good, and if it was rotted on the inside, that he would buy the door. If it wasn't rotted, then I'd buy him the door, since I just damaged his door, right? We took it off and as you can see, he had to buy a door. Because aluminum cladding, wood, vinyl cladding around wood, any of that stuff, it doesn't work. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So let me ask you this, Rick. Is this a product that you would want to spend anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000 to put in your home to replace the windows you currently have?
No, I don't want any maintenance and no.
Yeah, and it's a lot of money too,
Yeah,
right?
a lot of money.
I agree. A lot of money for a product that doesn't work. So wood's out?
Wood is out.
All right, no wood for you. Gotcha. We were still determined to find something that was low maintenance. And what we came up with was this. We actually invented the idea of using vinyl as a framing material on a window. And it was great for a couple of things. One, you don't got to paint it. You said you don't want no maintenance, you don't got to deal with that with this. All right? So you got a vinyl window, you stick it in there. You know, nowadays they even have chemical additives where it's going to even stay white for a longer time than it used to, because the old ones used to change colors a lot. Now they stay white a little bit longer. Remember what I said though. You got to have 3 elements. You got to have good glass, you got to have a strong frame, you have to have effective weather stripping. The thing is this, almost everybody in the industry is using a very similar style glass. Now, this is what we refer to as shop glass. What I mean by that is like literally anybody can take 2 pieces of glass, cut them up however they want to shape them, stick a couple pieces of metal in the middle as a spacer, and then just rub a bunch of rubber, we call it butyl, on there and create a seal. The whole point in having that seal is because in order for your glass to perform the way that it should, there's gas injected in between the 2 panes. That gas is there to serve as an insulator. It keeps heat and cold where it belongs, either inside or outside the home. So in the wintertime, you're keeping more of the warmth in. In the summertime, you're keeping more of the cool in, the warmth out. That's the responsibility of the gas that's between those 2 panes. However, remember whenever we were upstairs in your room and we saw that one that had all the fogging and condensation, all that stuff?
Sure.
That comes from a broken seal. It's just a symptom of a broken seal. So a window can have a broken seal without actually having condensation.
Okay.
All right, just like, you know, you can have the flu without throwing up all over the place, whatever. Symptoms and the cause are 2 different things. Yeah. The reality is it was a broken seal. So whenever we talk about a broken seal, what we're referring to is this right here, that gray goopy stuff that you see.
Mm-hmm.
What happens is you need this space to put the gas in, but then you need this seal to keep it in. As the frame warps and twists, because look at this. Give me seriously, grab it, put your hands right here and give that a good squeeze for me, please.
Uncle Rico.
All right. What do you notice?
Soft.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
plastic.
easy to bend.
It's plastic. The reality is as this is exposed to heat and cold, and especially in Colorado, because, you know, we have these 50-degree temperature swings within 24 hours. So what's happening is that plastic is going just over and over. It's expanding and contracting over and over. And then these little pieces called glazing strips, this is what they use to support the glass. Can you imagine how much this is going to change over the course of time? Right?
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is this, the glass started off good. It's got a seal, it's got gas, it's got everything that it needs. They take it and they stick it in this weak and flimsy frame, which is going to expand and contract. As it does that, it puts pressure on the glass, which then ruptures the seal, and you're right back where you started. Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah.
So the manufacturers know that that's going to happen. They know that they built a cheap product that's not going to last, so they tried to design a solution around it. That's what these are for. They take half a frame, they stick the glass inside of it like that, then they take this little weak and flimsy glazing strip and stick it on there, and bam, you got a window. The nice thing for them, not for us, but the nice thing for them is once this frame changes shape like it's bound to, usually within the first 4 or 5 years, and the glass is then ruined, if you're lucky enough that that company is still in business, then they can come out for a small fee, a service fee usually, not for the material, and replace the glass. But let me ask you this. If it's the frame's fault that the glass failed, how much sense does it make to take new, good glass and put it into a damaged frame?
Doesn't make sense at all.
Yeah, so the whole idea just doesn't even work. And remember, we want a good, solid, stable frame, good glass, effective weather strip. How do you think that this weather strip is going to perform as the window changes shape? I mean, it has to stay in contact with the frame, but if the frame's all twisted, is it going to continue to stay in contact?
No.
So the weather strip's not going to do its job. The frame broke the glass. You can put new glass in to a broken frame. It doesn't make any sense, does it?
No.
Okay. The thing is this, though. You can get this from upwards of probably 100 companies in our local market. All the way from, Chuck in a truck that runs down to Home Depot and picks up a $300 window.
Chuck in the Mercedes.
Goes and picks up a $300 window, straps it in the back of the truck, makes sure that it's not going to fly out on I-25, charges you $200 to tear out the old one and put in the new one, right? Or you can go to a company, a more reputable company, like a Champion or a Pella, and they're going to charge you anywhere from $900 to $1,800 for a window, just like this. I had a customer down in Colorado Springs. This is a couple years old. I don't have the real ones with me, but she went and had a variety of companies come out. She had Champion come out. Champion came out for her project, 6 windows, 3 patio doors, $14,653. All right, most of the cost, about half of that cost is in the doors. Then she had Pella come out. Pella bid the exact same project, 17 grand. She also had Sears come out, and as you can see, 100% pure vinyl. Sears is coming in at $18,500. If you want a better warranty, you can pay $21,600 for it. The reality is this, all of it's the same stuff. It's all just a plastic window, built the same, put together the same. That's all gonna have the same problems. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And wouldn't you agree that spending anywhere from $1,100 to $2,000 a window It's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money.
So let me ask you this. Does it make any sense in your mind to spend any amount of money on something that you know is just designed to fail?
No, I want to do this once. I don't want to do this again.
All right, so let me ask you this then. You know, you decided you don't want wood. Are you still considering putting a plastic window in the house?
No, I don't want that.
All right, awesome. We're headed the right direction. Let me show you the answer that we came up with. In the 70s, we started researching composite materials. This is our patented material. It's called Fibrex. Okay. What Fibrex is, to make it real simple, is 40% wood, 60% vinyl. We take the two, we grind them up into a fine matter, and then through a process called extrusion, which is just high heat, high pressure, we combine the two of them so the wood particles are encapsulated by the vinyl. All right. What happens then is we're able to get the strength of wood without any of its drawbacks, because we've got the vinyl's low maintenance properties without any of its weak and flimsy nature. So we have the best of both worlds without having to make any compromises. What's really cool about it too is it allows us to design a window completely different, because we're not limited by the strength of our material that we're making the frame out of. So we have thicker glass. We use a commercial grade glass in a residential setting. That way our glass will continue to last. We use a single piece stainless steel spacer, so instead of having cracks here at the corner, like you can see with the little plastic piece there, we have one continuous piece that goes around, because the whole idea is to keep this window performing as long as we possibly can. And so we have a single piece spacer so that we eliminate 4 points of failure that other manufacturers just happen to leave in. We don't use any glazing strips on it, because we're counting on, instead of designing something that we can just easily repair, we want something that's just going to last. So this is a single piece of Fibrex that goes around and supports the window. We take the glass and build the frame around it so that it works. We were talking about weather stripping. You said that since this warps and twists, the little fuzzy strips aren't going to keep working. We use a monorail system that has a dual fin weather strip. So what happens is it actually sits on this system here. Now, let me ask you this. How effective do you think that seal is going to be whenever the wind's blowing outside or you're pumping the heat inside?
A lot more effective than that one.
Yeah, exactly. And isn't that what you want?
Yeah.
I mean, something that works?
Yes.
All right, great. There's a whole bunch of other things, but I'll make it real simple for you. I had you grab this one and squeeze it. You said it felt weak and flimsy. I want you to take this, get your hands around here, and give that a good squeeze.
Yeah, it's much stronger.
It's much stronger.
Yeah.
I mean, does this seem like a higher quality product?
Yeah, it's solid.
Something that's going to last?
Yep.
All right, so let me ask you this then. If, and I'm only saying if, Rick, but if we can find a way to make the money work, because it always boils down to the money. This is obviously less money than this is.
Yeah.
If we can find a way to make the money work, wouldn't you rather have this?
I would.
All right, great. Let's work on the money.
Good.
All right?
Good.
I keep this.